session. See, newspaper is very important part and parcel of our UPSC preparation, and many of these candidates do not know how to approach the newspaper. See, if you'll observe the past year questions of UPSC exam, both prelims and mains, you will observe that all the questions are linked to newspaper. Newspaper is very important. See, problem is problem that we as a students face, that we are not able to link our basic education, basic topics that we study as part of a UPSC preparation with our current affair. Okay, so today in this session I will be helping you all on how to deal with this challenge. I will keep this session short and crisp, but it will be very meaningful for you all. Okay, so let's start. So basically, for UPSC preparation, we usually recommend two newspaper, Hindu and Indian Express. Why two newspapers? Newspapers because Hindu has the leftist orientation, whereas Indian Express has centrist orientation. So, as an IS officer, you need to be aware of all the viewpoints with respect to particular topic. Basically, these viewpoints are reflected through the editorials. Okay, and as an IS officer, you should be able to. You have to develop your own opinion, and that should be a balanced opinion while writing answers. Okay, so let's see. So this is a Hindu newspaper. Okay, now if you'll see, this is one of the headlines that you will see every day in the newspaper. So now how to read this topic, read this news. Okay, so first of all, we need to be aware of Omicron. So while dealing with this topic, first of all, you need to be aware of whole syllabus. You need to see from what all aspects UPSC can ask the question on Omicron, basically COVID-19. From what all angle? So if we'll see in GS1, we basically study history, geography, society. So while reading the newspaper, so you should be aware that, see, with respect to history, what UPSC can ask is, see, COVID-19 is a pandemic, right? So UPSC can ask that in the past, in which all periods pandemic occurred, and what were the causes for those pandemics. So this is the one angle that you should be aware of. Second is geography. Geography talks about phenomena in space. So basically, COVID and geography. So how COVID is impacting geography, or how geography is impacting COVID. So basically, under this we study, because of COVID, what has happened. We have seen last year also and this year also we are seeing migration pattern is changing. People are migrating out of cities to their hometown, back to hometown in rural areas, right? So this is changing the pattern. Even this is a domestic pattern if we see. And similarly, we can observe migration pattern internationally. What we are seeing, all the migrants, they are heading back towards their home country. Like we are seeing a counter wave of migration from US to India. Even Indians that which are present in USA, they are facing racial discrimination. So this is how you have to see how COVID is impacting the geography, or how geography is impacting the COVID. Even how COVID spread. COVID spread because of migration pattern only. Initially it originated in China, but later on, if we see world map, COVID originated here in China. It is alleged. We don't know how it originated, but it is alleged. So how it got diffused to different parts of the world? Through migration, through movement of people. So now it raises another set of question: movement of people. And what is movement of people? We study usually under globalization. So now what another angle that you should observe COVID from is globalization under threat. So UPSC can link globalization with COVID also. So basically, what you have to do, you have to link your subjects with that current news. Similarly, if you observe GS2, in what do we, if we see GS2, what do we study in GS2? We study polity, governance, international relation, social issues. The same way, what we have to study, we have to see how COVID is impacting all these segments: polity, governance, IR, social issue. Governance has been impacted. How governance has been impacted? Because to deal with COVID, uh, how government deals under the subject of health, and health is part of state list. So it has impacted governance because now burden of providing health facilities is upon the states. And another factor what is emerging is now, since state has come into an issue, into news, now it raises the question of federal that we study in polity, because state health is under the state list. But further, what is center doing? Center has been under disaster management act, has taken all the powers of the state, and through its executive it is enforcing rules, guidelines to tackle pandemic. So it has created issues between state and center. So this is another angle that we have to observe. All these things are provided in the newspaper itself, but we need to start observing each current news topic from the angle of our subjects. UPSC can ask COVID related question in any topic, in any part of GS 1, 2, 3, 4. So to uh, so we should be prepared beforehand with respect to all these topics. All right. Similarly, international relation has got impacted because of COVID. Because now what is happening? Visa regime has got strict. Then movement of people has got affected. Then supply chain means basically movement of goods from one country to another nation has got impacted. Similarly, social issues. Under this, we study mainly about vulnerable sections. So vulnerable sections has got impacted. How old age population is declining because what is happening? They are vulnerable. They are facing from comorbidities, and along with it, COVID infection. So if we see the trend of last 2 years, since 2020 we are experiencing it. It's almost 2 years of COVID. It started on March 2020, and now we are in Jan 2022. So if we see maximum that has occurred in what age group? In age group of old age. So what is happening if we have some this kind of age group? This is the age pyramid that we study in human geography. So now what is happening? This age pyramid is getting more narrower. All right. So this is how basically you have to link the topics. Similarly, other sections are getting impacted. Domestic, there have been issues of social issues because of lockdown. What is happening? Because our society is patriarchal based society. So what is happening? Uh, Men who don't have any work right now, so they are at home. So what is happening? Because of patriarchal society norms, there's increase in domestic violence plus increase in burden on women, especially wives. Similarly, social issue, if we see another angle, what we see, education has got impacted. Health we have already seen, health sector. So, so this is how we have to understand all the topics. All right. Then comes GS3. What do we find in GS3? Economy, security, environment, disaster management. All these are the topics. How economy is impacting. Economy, if we see our GDP, what has happened? GDP has steadily declined. Last year, in 2020-21, we observed our GDP was minus 7.7. So now we're expecting in this fiscal year 21-22 V-shaped recovery. And this is what the UPSC had asked. This if you see GS3 main question, UPSC has asked about, is India experiencing V-shaped recovery? So there are mixed opinion. Experts have expressed mixed opinions. Some are saying V-shaped, and some others are saying K-shaped. So you have to analyze the newspaper from this angle. All right, I'm just telling you the how to read the newspaper. All right. Then similarly, if you see environment, there have been many news because of lockdown. There has been less human activities. So what we have seen, there has been improvement in environment conditions. Best example, what we can cite is uh, like there is a carrying capacity. We measure carrying capacity via through there is a Earth Day celebrated, Earth Overshoot Day. So in 2019, Earth Overshoot Day was around 29 July. Then because of 2020, in 2020, because of COVID, what happened? This Earth Overshoot Day, it switched over to around 15 to 20th August. And similarly, in 2021, when economy revived, when human activities increased, again, this has been pushed back to 29 July. So you see how COVID has led to positive environment impact. So this is another scenario. Then last and most important is GS4, ethics. What ethics is? Observe all the values. See the application of values in all the aspects, like how we humans, common man, citizens, how government officials, did they abide to values while dealing with COVID? What COVID has exposed is, if we see, it has exposed that in India there is weak social capital. Weak social capital. Millions of people, millions of Indians, I would say exactly, they have been dying on the roads. They have been starving. They are left without jobs, no jobs, no food. And we have seen many incidents that many people got killed due to road accidents or while walking back from their uh, workplace to hometown, basically urban to rural back migration on foot. So it shows that although there was some kind of charity, some philanthropists did come forward and helped out the migrants, but still, as if we see as our values that is imbibed in our society of helping others, did we help out other people? No, we did not. So this is the basically this is how we have to study the COVID topic. This is one example. So you see how we need to approach newspaper, how UPSC expects us to study a newspaper. We just don't have to study that cases are rising. We have to study how. One more angle that we can observe from ethics is how ethics can help. What is ethics? Ethics focuses on our behavior. So how ethics can help? Ethics can help in changing the behavior of people so that they can take vaccination doses. They can maintain social distancing. Then, then we want public to develop good habits. Use sanitizers, wash hands before eating, use masks. All these are habits we want. So if we want to bring change in the society, there are two ways. First way is through institutions, through laws. That part is dealt by GS2 part. Other is sustainable method is through behavior change. And how behavior change can be done? Through ethics. So we need to enforce our values. We need to revive our Indian culture. So this is how we have to deal with COVID topics. Even in If you have observed the paper of GS4, there was question related to COVID also, ki how to encourage doctors to provide treatment to COVID patients. Like last year, there was news many times, doctors getting attacked by COVID patients or by normal public. So all this led to uh, demoralization of doctors. So we need to encourage them to come forward so that they can uphold the values like what? Integrity, integrity from the part of the doctor, fraternity. We need to show brotherhood. Then we need to respect the dignity of the doctors. Then there was another incident, like during second wave, we experienced what? Divide between rich and poor. Rich were able to access the oxygen cylinders, but poor were not. So this is another kind of, we study under Article 14, what we study equality part. So this got exposed, equality of status and opportunity. This got exposed during second wave. So basically, you see how we don't have to just do the plain reading of newspaper. We have to link each and every word or whatever actions our government is taking with our syllabus. And this is what UPSC expects. And this is what, if you're able to link such things in your answer, while reading newspaper, this will get reflected in your answer writing itself. And then no one can stop you from scoring good marks. Okay, so let's move to our next news topic. Okay, so I hope now see, it says Omicron in community transmission. So community transmission has begun. So what is happening? It is spreading at fast pace. Why? Because of poor behavior of Indians. We are not maintaining the protocols. We are not following the protocols. Protocols like social distancing, wearing the masks, using sanitizer, all these things. So now what is happening? It is spreading at fast pace. And what will happen now, since community transmission occurs? It will impact our economy. Economy impacted, it will impact our growth, and it will nullify whatever growth we have experienced in 2021. So we need to get serious about this. All right. So this is, and as an IS officer, you have to challenge that comes into what another UPSC can ask question is how to tackle the COVID, and it can be asked in two ways. In GS2 paper, how to tackle. So over there you will talk about governance and polity angle, and if same question is being asked in GS4, over there you would have to talk from ethical angle. Over there you will talk about changing the behavior. Okay, I hope you have got the idea, fair idea how to approach this topic. Okay, boy from Arunachal found PLA. So what is the news basically? It, this is the news basically talking about, there was a, I don't know, alleged or rumor, whatever it has been. There was allegation that Chinese army, okay, they kidnapped the Arunachal teenager. So now you will find, while reading this you will see, oh, it's not like very important, it's a political news or whatever it is news, it's local news, we are not interested, but we have to see the bigger picture of this. As an IS officer you have to see there has been allegation of what, if we draw a map. So geographical angle, first of all you have to be clear with geography. So what is geography? Be clear of, this is Arunachal Pradesh, this is the place in news. So you need to be first clear about its geography, its vegetation pattern, climate, soil, rainfall pattern, all these things you should be aware of. Okay, Then environment is aspect also you can talk about. Then what are important biosphere reserve, national parks. Then tribal people. We also study about tribal people. All these things. Then also you talk about Arunachal Pradesh. Link it with other news also. Recently there has been Arunachal Pradesh has been in news for another purpose also. Polity. Demand for sixth schedule status. This is another angle that you need to study from. You need to study Arunachal from. Then recently uh, news is about kidnapping of teenager teen. All right. So what it says, there's an allegation on Chinese. So what is happening? So you have to see the bigger picture. Bigger picture is international relation. What does international relation says that Chinese is following the world warrior diplomacy. So under this, what is Chinese following? Expansionist policy. So China is expanding. China is expanding since India and China share the border. So China is trying to expand its border. So it is trying to enter the Indian frontier. Last year, there have been issues in the Ladakh region, Galvan Valley region, Pangong. So even recently, there has been news that on the Pangong, so China is building a bridge. Similarly, on the another frontier, what is it is challenging India on the Arunachal frontier. So what is China claims Arunachal as its own territory on the basis of culture. It says Tibetan culture prevails in Arunachal, and Tibetan culture originates from Chinese territory. So on the cultural aspect, but then you need to be aware of Indian angle also. Indian angle says this is a boundary which was demarcated by Britishers. Okay, Johnson line. So India follows Johnson line. Boundary that has been formed is it is on the Johnson line. So India follows Johnson line. But Chinese rejects. China says that when the treaty was signed with respect to Johnson line, it was signed between Tibet, Britishers, and Indian government. So China says Tibet, Tibetan government no more exists. Now it is Chinese government that exists, and China shares the boundary with India. So it rejects the boundary pact that was signed in the past. So this is how basically. Then further, more what you need to be aware of Arunachal Pradesh. You need to be aware of this. This is a hill area, Himalayas. So Himalayas steep height slope. Sorry, steep slopes. Then on this, there hazards are occurring. So one of the hazard was landslide. And this year UPSC had asked the question on landslide. So this is how basically you have to link. See, everything is linked through newspaper and your basics. So learn to integrate news with your basics. This is what UPSC preparation is all about. News is just a simple example which would amount just 10 to 20 words of your answer. The rest of the answer will come from this basics. So rather than just saying I have read the newspaper, there was nothing in it. Rather than looking from that perspective, rather what you should be doing, you should pick up the news and see, okay, this is the news. This news has to be analyzed from all the eh, subjects: GS1, GS2, GS3, sorry, GS4. Okay, if you'll practice this now, I know this will take some time. It is too much of time consuming activity, but if you'll develop it as an habit, it will give you a marvelous result. Okay, then this is the news. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose statue has been unveiled. So now what we have to study Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So link it with history. In history, modern history, we study about him a lot. So if he's in the news, that means you need to be aware of him. In the past also, UPSC had asked the question about difference in the views between Gandhiji, and Bose. So this is how. Then similarly, there are many famous quotes like "Give me blood, I will give you freedom" and all. All these things, quotes and all about Bose, they can be used in essays also. Bose, then even Bose represented a different model of development. Like Bose was in favor of industrialization, 5-year plans. We do see 5-year plans in Indian political setup. So, like before 2014, they, we followed the 5-year plan model. So, so now how do we have to approach Bose? Yes, what is his contribution in Indian society? Okay, this is how you have to study this topic. Don't go after books उठाओगे online search करने, you will start searching online. Okay, Bose, when was he born, when was his education grade? No, you have to see the application part. From what angle? 1, 2, 3, 4, GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. From those angles you have to study Bose. Okay, and very good content is given in Spectrum Modern History itself. That is enough for from Bose point of view. If any question comes out of it, just leave it. Okay, but don't waste your time in searching material. Okay, in this. Okay. Then other news also. But today I will just keep short and crisp so that you get an idea about how to approach. From next time onwards, I will take this newspaper session in detail. Okay, I'll just give you a brief idea also about how to approach this. Now, corridors. Elephant corridors. All right. So now, what are elephant corridors? See, in a plain meaning, what you'll see that it connects two elephant reserves. Elephant reserve one, elephant reserve two. It will connect two elephant reserves, and through this corridor, there can be free movement of elephants from reserve one to reserve two, or two to one. All right, to and fro movement. This is simple. you need to, you need to think from broader perspective. How? Environment. What we study in environment. Basically, what we want sustainable development. We want to preserve environment. All right. So now, what is the main objective behind elephant corridor? Now, now you're like, okay, it will help in connecting elephant reserves. But what is the main objective? If you remember, you study in environment topics, functions of ecosystem, function of ecosystem, and you study about productivity. Then you study about food pyramid or food web. You can say energy pyramid, biodiversity. So think from these angle. These are the basic concepts of environment. So think from this angle. Productivity. How productivity would improve? What will happen? Earlier, elephant was confined in this reserve only one, but now it can move towards the another reserve also. So what will happen? Area, habitat area would increase, right? If area increases, earlier this was area, now this is a huge area. So it would be able, elephant would be able to access the resources of this large area, right? So what will happen? If more resources are available, more growth of elephant. So more productivity of an ecosystem. Because in ecosystem is what? Every organism are interlinked. If every organism performs its function, then ecosystem will also perform positively. It would increase carrying capacity of an ecosystem, right? Then food web, with more more complexity in food web. How? Because it would go to second reserve, it will start eating, it will find other resources, other plants, etc. as its food. So earlier, just elephant was suppose eating grass, a particular kind of grass, suppose uh, lemongrass. Just example I'm quoting. Then if it goes over this area also, it starts eating tougher grass also, or blue grass you can say. So now what is happening? Elephant has more choices of food. If more choices of food, that means food chain is getting more interlinked. If food chain gets intermingled and interlinked, what will happen? Food web creates, and more food web, more complexity. More complexity means increase in stability of the ecosystem. All right. Similarly, energy pyramid, more transfer of energy to elephants and more increase in biodiversity. So this is how basically you have to understand. You have to understand the rationale behind the step. Don't think as a generalist. Sometimes you have to think from depth, and and that analysis from depth analysis basically. Sorry for sorry, sorry for depth analysis. Refer to your basic books. Those books will help you to analyze a topic, and this will help you in interlinking interlink of GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. All right. So this is how basically you have to approach every topic. I hope just see from one page itself. uh, There are two more news. We will deal with these news later on. But we have to deal with one elephant corridor, Omicron, and boy from Arunachal. We just studied three news and see from those three news itself, we were able to study a lot. We were able to revise a lot of syllabus from a lot of topics from a syllabus. Sorry. So I hope now you are getting a picture on how to approach newspaper. Newspaper is another book for you, not just a paper from, not just a plain paper. You'll just read and just throw it away. No, it's a part and parcel of your studies. Okay, so that's why it is usually said why newspaper takes a lot of time while studying. I hope I was helpful to you in this session. If you have any query, I will drop the my contact number or whatever way you can contact me in the description below so that you can approach me. Thank you so much.